Hello, welcome back to the Lingualoon. Today we're going to discuss the Odyssey in Unfolding the Classics series. It's written by Homer in 8th century BCE. It's a Greek epic. It's a general information. Author is Homer. 24 books. Language is ancient Greek. This is just an opening line, very beautiful. Lions tell me a muse of that ingenious hero who traveled far and wide after he had sacked the famous town of Troy. Many cities did he visit, and many were the nations with whose manner and customs he had acquainted. Moreover, he suffered much by sea while trying to save his own life and bring his man safely home. So it is a story 3,000 years old. A blind poet sat in the Mediterranean Sea and told a story. Mediterranean world, sorry about that. It's a story about a man, one impossible journey, and the question that haunts all of us. What does it mean to go home? So if you have ever read Iliad with us, that we've discussed in a previous video, the war epic, then you know how Troy ended. The Greeks won, the city burned, and the heroes sailed home. But one man's ship never arrived. His name was Odysseus. On his journey home would take 10 years, cost every single one of his man's life, and test every limit of his mind and his courage and his soul. This is that journey, totally amazing. So we'll discuss this. Let's start with the players of this epic, that which are the characters. First one is Odysseus. This is the minor, a little bit of description about them. And this is Penelope, his wife, and Telemachus, his son, Athena, goddess of wisdom, Poseidon, goddess of the sea, Zeus, king of gods, Calypso, nymph, then Circe, witch goddess, Polyphemus, the Cyclops, son of Poseidon, then Tiresias, a blind prophet, then suitors, then Hermes, messenger of God, Zeus' errand boy. As we're going to discuss it, just a bit of it. So first, Ithaca is falling apart. This is the first ever chapter that I've compiled, consisting from book 1 to book 4. So this is part 1, that is a kingdom without the king. We do not begin the story with Odysseus, we begin with his absence, as he's not there. So it's been 20 years since Odysseus left Ithaca, his island kingdom. 10 years of Trojan War, is quite famous war in history, and now more than 10 years since the war ended. Every other Greek hero has come home, but not him. Back in Ithaca, his palace invaded not by his enemy, but perhaps far more worse. That is, 108 noble suitors moved in, dined, drank his wine, and pressuring his wife to declare Odysseus as dead and choose a new husband. Penelope, she tricked her. She told suitors that she would choose a husband only after finishing a burial shroud for Laertes, Odysseus' father. Every night she secretly unraveled the day's weaving. She kept this going for 3 years before a servant exposed her. People, Penelope was not just faithful, she was brilliant, a strategist, and she brilliantly tricked others for her husband to protect him. His son is now 20 years old. He is grown fatherless and looking at man devouring his inheritance, mock his name and treat him like a child in his own home. On Mount Olympus, the goddess Athena, the divine patron of wisdom and Odysseus' great champion, pleaded his case to Zeus. Athena said to Zeus and pleaded for Olympus to help him. And Zeus said the fault lies with Poseidon, not me. Odysseus blinded his son in the war. But he still sent Hermes to release Odysseus from Calypso's island on which he was stuck. Then Athena guises herself as an old family friend and visits Telemachus. Her message is sharp. Stop sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. Go find news of your father. Be a man. And this is what she said to him. Telemachus, I will do it. I have sat still long enough. These men eat our cattle. About these who have sat in his own home and treat him like a furniture. Telemachus sails to the court of old heroes at Sparta. He met King Menelaus, whose wife Helen triggered the whole Trojan War. Tells him what he heard from the sea god, that Odysseus is alive but trapped in an island of the nymph Calypso. So here at last a hope, a thread. Then let's move to the next part. The second part, the name that caused everything. Book 9 to 10 is covered in this. We now flash back. Odysseus was washed ashore on the island of Phaeacia. These are Greek names, so difficult to pronounce. So, ruled by the king. This is Alcinous. At the royal banquet, he's also tell his story, he speak, and we learn everything. The route of Odysseus from Troy. This is the whole journey of him. Then after Troy fell, Odysseus and his fleet stopped at an island inhabited by Cyclops, massive one-eyed giant each one up, the son of Poseidon himself, against the warnings of his man Odysseus, led a small party in a huge cave. It was the home of Polyphemus, a Cyclops the size of a mountain. He returned at dusk, sealed the cave with a boulder not 20 men could lift, and found the Greeks inside. Then Polyphemus said, "Strangers, who are you? Where is the ship? Are you traders or pirates who prey on weak men?" Then Odysseus said, "We are Greeks, soldiers of Agamemnon, the greatest name under heaven. We come as suppliants, and we ask for hospitality the gods demand. Zeus himself is the protector of strangers." Then Polyphemus said, "Ha, you must be a fool. We Cyclops care nothing for you. Zeus is stronger than any god. Now where is your ship?" Then Odysseus smartly lied. Then Polyphemus, size of 2 men, seized 2 of his men and ate them for breakfast. He ate 2 more. The boulder was immovable. They were sealed inside with a monster who was eating them. Then Odysseus had a plan. He found a massive wooden pole in a cave, sharpened it to the point. He offered the Cyclops wine, strong wine, and flattered him, made him drunk. And Polyphemus, when he got drunk, he said, "This wine is wonderful. Tell me your name, little man, and I will give you a gift in return. A guest gift, as you Greeks like to call it." Odysseus cleverly answered, My name is Nobody. That is what my mother and father call me, and what all my friends call me too." Polyphemus said, "Ha, then nobody shall be eaten lost. This is my gift to you." When Cyclops fell asleep, Odysseus heated the stake in a fire and drove it into Polyphemus' single eye. The giant screamed. His neighbor came running. Polyphemus said, "Help, I'm being murdered. Come, neighbors, help me." His neighbor said, "Who is hurting you? Who is doing that?" Polyphemus, Nobody is killing me." His neighbors said, "Well, if nobody is hurting you, then it must be a sickness from Zeus. Pray to your father Poseidon." They went home. Odysseus and his men escaped with a brilliant strategy. Odysseus shouting from the ship, "If anybody asks you who blinded you, Cyclops, tell them it was Odysseus, son of Laertes, king of Ithaca." The fatal part, this is a turning point of the whole epic. Odysseus could have sailed away anonymously, but he needed the Cyclops to know that he outwitted them. Then vanity has a price. Polyphemus prayed to his father Poseidon, who would spend the next day making Odysseus suffer for it. Then moving to the third part, the Witch of Era, AR. This is difficult to pronounce. Book number 10. Some temptations are more dangerous than monsters. AR, island, home of Circe. And after escaping the Cyclops, Odysseus lost more men to cannibal giants and stormy seas. He arrived at the island, home of enchantress Circe, daughter of sun god Helios. His men explored. They found a beautiful palace in the forest. A woman's voice sang from inside. They entered. She gave them food, wine, and then touched them with her wand and turned them into pigs. Odysseus went to confront her alone. On the way, the god Hermes appeared and gave him a magical herb, Molly, to protect him from her magic. And Circe's wand did nothing to him. She knew exactly who he was. Then Circe said, "You must be Odysseus, the man of many schemes. Hermes always said you would come here. Put away your sword, come to bed. After that, let us learn to trust each other." Odysseus said, "How can I trust you? You turned my men into swine. I will not share your bed while they remain animals. Swear to me, swear by the gods, that you mean no more harm than and only done." She swore. She restored his men, and Odysseus and his crew stayed on the island for an entire year, feasting, resting, and healing. It was Circe who finally told him the truth before he could go home. He had to go somewhere no living man had ever gone. Well, the journey to the underworld. Now, Part 4, Book 11, The Land of the Dead. Odysseus sailed to the edge of the world, dug a pit, and performed the ancient rites. The dead rose to drink the blood, the only thing that could give them voice. The great giant, the great prophet Tiresias appeared, blind even in death and still seeing everything. He's quite a famous character in Greek works, mentioned in many of the works. Tiresias said, "Odysseus, you seek the sweet path home. Poseidon has not forgiven you, but listen carefully. Do not let your men touch the sacred cattle of Helios on the island of Thrinacia. If they do, your ships will be destroyed. Every man will die, and you will come home alone on a stranger's vessel to find your home full of violent men." And then his own mother appeared. She had died of grief of waiting for him. He tried to embrace her 3 times, but then she slipped through his arm like smoke. The detail about 3 times, 3 failures is Homer telling us that the dead are gone, even the one we love the most. We cannot hold them, we can only speak to them and let them go. Then the next part 5, Sirens, Monsters, and the Lost Ship. Book 12 to 13 is covered in it. Let me scroll. Circe has warned Odysseus, the Sirens creatures whose singing was so beautiful the sailors turned their ships toward rocks and drowned themselves to reach them. No man has ever heard the Sirens and live. Odysseus wanted to hear them, so he had his men plug their ears with beeswax and had himself tied to the mast. No matter how desperately he begged, they were not to release him. Then the Sirens. They sang, come here, great Odysseus, glory of the Greeks, stop your ship and listen. No one passes without hearing a honey-sweet voice. We know everything, all that happened at Troy, all that happens on this earth. And while listening to this singing, Odysseus said, untie me now, row me toward the shore. His man tightened the ropes, tighter even more. They rowed harder, they passed. He was the only man in history to ever listen to sirens and survived. Then came Scylla, a six-headed monster in a cliff, and Charybdis, a monstrous whirlpool on the other side of the same strait. Circe had told him choose Scylla, lose 6 men, not all of them. He chose correctly. Scylla snatched 6 men from the deck as he was helpless, unable to save them. And then they reached Thyrantia, the island of Helios' sacred kettle. Odysseus made his men swear not one animal should be touched. They were stranded a month by storm, hungry, desperate, and one day while Odysseus slept, they killed the cattle. Zeus destroyed their ships. With a lightning bolt, every man drowned. Odysseus alone survived. He drifted for 9 days. He washed ashore on Calypso's island alone. It was the loneliest moment in the story. Then let's move forward to the part 6 of the story. That is 7 years with the goddess. He was struck in the island with Calypso. She was not cruel, she was lonely, and she was in love. She gave Odysseus everything: warmth, food, comfort, her own bed. She even offered him the one thing no mortal man has ever been offered: immortality. She said to him, stay with me, live forever, never grow old, never die, live as a god. He cried every morning back toward the horizon because he longed for his home. He refused immortality. Calypso, after Hermes delivered Zeus' command to release Odysseus, She said, "It is cruel. Your gods are always jealous when a goddess loves a mortal man. I saved him, I fed him, I loved him, and now you send your little messenger to snatch him. Fine, I'll let him go, but I will not carry him home myself." Calypso said to Odysseus, "You want to go home, I know, even knowing that hardship still awaits you, that your wife is mortal, she will grow old and die. You choose her over me, over immortality." Odysseus said, "Calypso, wise and beautiful you are. I know you're more lovely than Penelope. She is mortal, you're a goddess. Every day I long to get home. I want to see the smoke rises from Ithaca's herds. I suffer at the sea, I'm still going." She gave him wood. He built a raft with his own hands and sailed for 17 days until Poseidon, spotting him, shattered it to the storm. Odysseus swam for 2 days and collapsed, barely alive on the shore of Phaeacia. The princess Nausicaa found him. She was not afraid. She brought him to his father's court. At a great feast, she asked the king. The king asked the stranger his name. And Odysseus said, "I am Odysseus, latest son. The whole world talks of my stratagems, and my fame has reached the heavens." The hall went silent. Everyone has heard of Odysseus of Troy, and now he told them everything, the whole story from beginning to the raft. The king left. He gave him ship, gifts, and crew, while Odysseus slept on board. The princess, crew, the Phaeacian crew sailed him home to Ithaca and set him gently on the beach, asleep, still dreaming, as dawn broke over the island he had not seen in 20 years. Now moving forward to the part number 7, The Beggar King. It consists of book 13 to 19. Now Odysseus is now in Ithaca. He woke up and did not recognize his own home. Athena appeared and told him, "You are home." Then she warned him the suitors were dangerous, numerous, and armed. He could not simply walk in as a king and demand horseback, not yet. Then she disguised him as an old beggar. He went to the hut of his loyal swineherd, Amos, to observe and plan, to draw a strategy. Then an extraordinary thing happened. Athena brought his son Telemachus, returning secretly from Sparta directly to the same hut, and Athena briefly dissolved the disguise so that he can see his father. Odysseus, revealing himself to his son, said, "Telemachus, I am your father. I have come home after 20 years. Look at me. There is no other Odysseus but me." His son said, "You are not my father. Some god is mocking me. No mortal man could change his face like that. Old one moment, young the next." Odysseus says, "No god. Telemachus, just Odysseus. Athena gave me a disguise. I have wept on the foreign land. for 20 years and now I'm home. Now stop crying and tell me about those men in the hall so we can plan to kill them." They both embraced each other and wept and made a plan disguised as the bad guy. Odysseus entered his own palace. He endured suitors' mockery, watched them eat his food, and insult his wife. And after all this insult, he still said nothing but waited. Even his own dog was being treated badly, which died due to insults and being abandoned. His dog Argos. This is about him, his dog. Then Odysseus found Penelope. He spoke to her. She told him about the suitors and everything going on. She wept hearing his description of husband. She did not recognize him, but an old nurse, washing his feet as was custom, felt a scar on his thigh. A scar he had gotten as a boy from a boar hunt. She gasped. He grabbed her throat. Odysseus, holding the Siren old nurse's throat, said, "Nurse, do you want to destroy me? You nursed me at your own breast. I am home, but not yet safe. No, not a word to anyone, not even Penelope, or everything falls apart." She said, "My boy, my dear boy, I understand. Not a word, but you're home." Then the next part 8, The Bow and the Blood. It consists of book 21 to 24. Penelope, inspired by Athena, announced a contest. Odysseus had left behind his great bow weapon, so powerful that even he had been able to string it. She would marry whichever suitor could string Odysseus' bow and shoot an arrow through the iron rings of 12 axe heads lined in a row. One by one, the suitors tried. No one could do it. Then the old beggar asked to try. The suitor laughed and said, "A beggar wants to try a bow. What's next? A dog compete as well?" Then Penelope said, "Let him try. What is there to be ashamed of?" Then a bow was bought for him. He turned it over in his own hand, slowly examining and testing the wood for worm damage. Then the suitor sneered, thinking him as an arrogant old man who did not know what he was holding. Then he tested the string with his thumb. It sang clean and sharp. The suitor went pale. The Odysseus not hit an arrow, drew and fired through all 12 axe-headed without a single shaft touching iron. Then he turned toward the suitors, said, "Your contest is over, gentlemen. Now let us see if I can hit another mark that no one has ever hit before." Then he shot Antinous, the worst of the suitors, through his throat, while the man had a wine cup to his lips. The suitors screamed. They looked for their weapons, but Telemachus, Odysseus' son, secretly removed all of their weapons. They were trapped. Then they thought the hall was all full of the dead bodies. Now, this is a question. It is justice or it is a massacre? What is it? Homer presents the slaughter as justice, divine and inevitable, but modern readers find it often troubling. Some suitors were more guilty than the others, and 12 of Odysseus' own maidservants were hanged for sleeping with the suitors. The Odyssey does not ask us to feel comfortable, it asks us to feel the full weight of 20 years. So that's the answer to that question. The hall was cleaned, Penelope was brought down, she sat across the man claiming to be her husband, dressed in fresh clothes, and she felt nothing. She had been disappointed before, she had been tricked even before. Then her son said, "Mother, your husband is right here, why won't you speak to him? Why sitting like a stone?" Penelope said, "My son, if this truly is your father, we have ways to recognize each other that others cannot know. Let me test him." She turned to Ulysses, bring out his bed, move it to outside the bedroom so he may sleep. Odysseus said, "Who moved my bed? That bed cannot be moved. I built my bed myself. I carved the post from a living olive tree that grew through the floor of our bedroom. I built the room around the tree. The bedpost is the tree. No man on earth knows that but you, me, and one single servant who moved it." Then Penelope recognized him instantly and said, "Don't be angry with me. I have been afraid for 20 years, afraid of being deceived, claiming to be you. The sign is clear, the bed. No one could have known him. You are home, you're really home." "Penelope," as Odysseus said, "we both have suffered holding a home together against all odds, me trying to get back here, but I'm home, and this is where I stay." They talked to the whole night. Zeus and Athena brokered a truce between Odysseus and the family of the dead suitors. Peace settled over. So, this is it. Odysseus came home at last, and Penelope kept faith with him, and the long work of gods was done. Now, here's the question: what the Odysseus is really about. The Odyssey is not just an adventure story, it is the meditation and identity. Odysseus spent the entire poem in disguise, asking, "Who am I when stripped of my title, my crew, my ship?" It is about homecoming, not about arriving at a place, but becoming again the person who belongs there. It is about lonely Penelope, his son Amos, Argus the dog, and what it means to wait for someone without knowing if they will ever return. And it is quietly the world's oldest argument that cleverness is as heroic as strength. Where the Iliad gives us the greatest warriors, the Odyssey gives us the greatest mind. 3,000 years later, we're still reading it. It's a beautiful story, covered by Darling Walloon in the series Unfolding the Classics. You can even check out our previous video, Gilgamesh, Book of the Dead, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Iliad, on YouTube and on our website. This is it, the whole story. A very beautifully written story that what it means, what home means for a person. Everybody loves their home. So this is the story of, if anybody cannot understand the meaning of home, just let them read this book. It is awesome. Thanks for watching. Do like, subscribe and share. Goodbye.